Welcome in. This is a segment from the Slumpbuster FFB Podcast with Aris Blakeney. Find the full episode on Spotify, iTunes, the Google Play Store, or our YouTube channel. Enjoy.
We're going to hop into the AFC home games now. Since he went to Buffalo, and they lost. Buffalo Bills are 3-0, 17-21. They pulled out that win. Dalton had a Dalton game, 249, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Mixon had a decent game, 61 on the ground, 34 through the air, 1 touchdown. Man, if you play John Ross, he's boom or bust. He only had 2 yards. Poor guy. And then Tyler Boyd, 67 yards. Both of their production is going to go way down in 2 weeks when they get back A.J. Green. But, man, Josh Allen. Yeah, he might be one your starting quarterback from here on out. He had 243 yards and a touchdown and a pick. But you also always get that, that hope that you're going to get one of those rushing touchdowns. He's turning into a rushing quarterback. Nobody had him doing that coming out of Wyoming. So, you can look for those rushing yards to boost your points for the week, because sometimes he's on the lower end of the passing scale, but those rushing yards will boost you up. Next week they get New England, so probably not. But, still, matchup-wise going forward, I'd look for him to be a streaming option for you. Frank Gore had 76 yards and a touchdown. John Brown had 51 scoreless yards as well. And then we're going to mention Knox. He had 67 and a touchdown. Probably an outlier. I don't see him doing this much more because I've never heard of Knox. I don't think anybody else has. But this man had 1 catch. Remember that Vance McDonald run from last year? Or was it 2 years? I think it was last year, where he caught the ball. He stiff-armed the Buccaneers player into an injury on the side of the field. This man did that, but twice. He did it on the same play. He ran through this defense. It was an awesome play to watch. If you haven't seen it yet, go out on YouTube and look it up. I'm sure it's on Facebook, YouTube, whatever. But this was a pretty fun run. He went beast mode on it and ran through 2 players. Next up is Atlanta at the Colts. Colts pulled this one off, 24-27. Matt Ryan had 304 yards, 3 TDs, and an interception, and another slow start. First half, it was looking terrible for them. Second half, it's when they started to turn up. Freeman had 88 scoreless yards as well. And then, man, Julio. This man is another species. 128, 1 touchdown. He mossed somebody. Some of these catches are just unreal. Julio is. I'm glad he got paid because he deserved it. And then Hooper, 66 yards and 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns, probably not going to happen again this year. But that 66 yards is about where he's going to be at. Jacoby Brissett, 310, 2 touchdowns, no picks. All right. They're 2-1 now. They're going to be, AFC AFC South contenders for sure. But I was a little wary about him starting, but it's kind of turning out to be something. T.Y. Hilton, 65 and a touchdown. It's pretty much what you can expect out of him point-wise. And then Marlon Mack, 74 and 1. There was an injury concern of him coming into the game. Didn't show much of that concern in the game, but it is something to monitor because calf injuries are kind of like hamstrings that can tend to linger going forward. Next was everybody's game of the week. Ravens at the Chiefs. Chiefs won this one 33-28. Lamar Jackson, 267, no TDs, no picks, 46 on the ground, and a touchdown. We can all stop saying this guy is an amazing quarterback. Finally played somebody and had a normal week. First 2 weeks, he played Miami, laughingstock of the league. And then he played Arizona that had beat-up corners just left and right. Their whole secondary is out. So he finally played somebody worth something and had a mediocre week. So that's about what you can expect from him going. Mark Ingram had 103 yards and 3 touchdowns. They're a rushing offense, so 100 yards is definitely going to be his norm, and 1 or 2 touchdowns is going to be his norm. So if you have Ingram, keep him. If you can get something better, better trade, or if you're stacked at running back, I'd still keep him. Don't trade him away. Mark Andrews, I said he's going to lead this team in receiving. I was right up to 2 weeks. He only had 15 yards. I'm glad I was telling people to sit him over Waller. That was a pretty common question today. He only had 15 yards, and then Hollywood Brown had 49 yards. He's going to be boom or bust. Don't expect that Miami week every week. It's pretty much going to be boom or bust, feast or famine with him. Patty Mahomes. Can we not have him in the AFC West, please? This guy's going to be. We had Peyton Manning. Now we have Patrick Mahomes. Can the Chargers catch a freaking break, please? He had 374 yards, 3 touchdowns. Commentators joked around saying that even when they're on their own 20, they're in the red zone because he threw a touchdown from their own 20. It's going to be a rough year for the Chargers, isn't it, guys? Anyway, McCoy had 54 rushing yards and a touchdown, 26 yards through the air and a touchdown. Darrell Williams, the other D. Williams on the team, he stepped in perfectly for D. Williams and had 62 on the ground, 47 through the air. Now I'm getting them mixed up. Damian Williams, if he is out next week, get the other D. Williams, Darren Williams. Y'all feel me there? If D. Williams is out next week, get D. Williams for the same team. Hardman, him and Robinson have been filling in for that Hill spot pretty good. It's just split between 2 people now. Hardman had 2 catches, 97 yards, and a touchdown. Robinson had 43 yards and a beautiful one-handed grab. Sammy Watkins fell back into his normal role, 5 catches for 64 yards. And then Kelsey, safety blanket there, 89 yards going forward. So if you can, Hardman, Robinson, it's going to be a little hard trying to figure out which one is going to be the one that has the better week. But they're pretty much playing that Hill position. So if you have space or if you need a receiver, look for them. Sammy Watkins, like I said, did go back into his normal role. Oh, man. Jets at Pats. Falk, I'm so sorry, guy. It's your first ever start in the NFL. You had to play the Pats. Rough day for you. You only had 98 yards and a pick. I'm really sorry that you had to play them your first start. Bell, 35 yards on the ground, 28 through the air. Hold on to him because when Mono Boy comes back, he's going to have the week like he had in week 1. Just hold off. Darnold is coming back. He'll pop back up on your radar. Robbie Anderson will pop back up on your radar. Jamison Crowder will pop back up on your radar. So just hold on if you have those guys. Until then, I'd sit everybody, especially Bell, unless they have a super good matchup going forward. On the Patriots side, Brady had 306, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Burkhead filled in perfectly for James White, his wife was having a baby, so congratulations to them. Burkhead had 47 on the ground, 1 touchdown, and 22 through the air. Sony Michel didn't need to do anything. He had 9 carries, 11 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, they really didn't need to do anything. Edelman had 62 and a touchdown. Dorsett had 53 and a touchdown. Like I said, Dorsett is coming back onto your radar. now that AB is gone. And then Josh Gordon. Oh, this guy. He's good. Some of these catches he was making, going up and getting it was, like I said, I used to play receiver, so I enjoy these things a little bit more than other people do, but he had 83 yards, and some of the catches were pretty nice. I do want to say this. It's not fantasy relevant, but it was pretty funny. Stidham came in for one drive. He had 3 attempts, 2 completions, 1 pick six. He came in late fourth quarter, threw pick six, make it go to 14-30, and then he got benched and Tom Brady came back at the game. It is pretty funny. They already had the game in hand, but Belichick ain't having none of that. Let's talk about that Thursday night game, man. Gardner Minshew. Minshew mania. Sweeping Jacksonville. Just Jacksonville. Maybe a little bit of the whole nation, but definitely Jacksonville. They have fake mustaches going on. I love this guy. He's hilarious. He had not fantasy relevant at all, but let's talk about him real quick. He got $1 million offer from Cam Soda, which is a porn site, because a report came out that he was doing calisthenics stretching in the locker room in just his headband that he wears and his jockstrap. So Cam Soda was like, hey, sounds like our guy. Let's send him $1 million endorsement deal to where once a week he does a calisthenics class in his headband and his jockstrap, and then be their lead guy for their new line of penis puppets. No idea what that is, but Minshew Mania is taking over. He had 204 yards, 2 TDs, no picks. But like I said before, guys, DJ Chark. You need to get DJ Chark. It's 76 yards and a touchdown. He is their big play guy. Get DJ Chark. If you had Leonard Fournette, a little bit of a rough week, he ended up with 66 yards. I'll tell you how bad of a game it was for him. His longest run was 69 yards. He ended with 66, but his longest run on the night was 69. Bit of a rough day for him. But I mean, hey, they got the win 20-7. So Mariota had 304 scoreless yards, no picks. Henry had 44 yards and a touchdown. Humphreys can be a flex option. He had 93 yards, and then Delaney Walker 64 yards. This next game, guys. I was on a roller coaster. Let me tell you how my Sundays inevitably end up. Always. 2 minutes left in the game. Down by 3 to 8 points. Phil Rivers with the ball. This is how it always ends up. We can never put away a team. We were up 17-7 at halftime. Games we're supposed to win, we lose. Games we're supposed to lose, we win. It's a rough life. Me being one of the only Chargers fans in the nation, because we only have like 1,200 fans maybe. LA doesn't want us. We play in a soccer stadium that we can't sell out. It only has 28,000 seats, and we can't sell that freaking thing out. We're on the road every week because we only sell 20,000 tickets, and 18,000 go to the opposite team because they want to come to LA to watch the football. It's just it's a rough life for us, guys. Chargers ended up losing this one 27-20. We should have won this one. We had a Justin Jackson touchdown called back on the final drive to holding. We would have won the game. We had a face mask that would have negated a pick. Phil Rivers was sacked. It's a rough life. I don't know what else to say. Deshaun Watson, 351 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like I said, normally Chargers are really good against tight ends. All 3 of those touchdowns went to tight ends, so that went against what I always say. But, hey, we held DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller, and Kenny Stills all underneath 100 yards. Kenny Stills, 89. Fuller, 51. Hopkins, 67. This is going to be his lowest output of the year, and it came against the Chargers, so I'm pretty happy about that. Hyde also had 19 yards with a touchdown. We should have won this game. But, hey, Phillip Rivers we trust. He had 318, 2 touchdowns. That's pretty much Phillip Rivers. You're going to get 250 to 300 yards and 2 touchdowns with the occasional pick or 2. Austin Eckler had a fallback game, 36 yards on the ground, 45 through the air. Like I said, Justin Jackson had a TD called back. He ended up with 26 yards total. Mike Williams, 45 yards. Man, we had a touchdown dropped as well. Just all of this, man, overshadows Keenan Allen having a phenomenal freaking game. 13 catches, 183 yards, 2 touchdowns. This dude is putting together another Pro Bowl year. He already has 400 yards on the year and 3 TDs. He's well on his way to getting that 1,300 yards again. We're going to lose next week to freaking Miami. I already know it. We're going to be 1-3 and lose to Miami. Somebody help me, please, because it's a rough life. I'm going to take a quick break. Alrighty. Back from break. I had to go cry myself to sleep talking about the Chargers. I needed a good cry because Chargers always, man, they just disappoint.